Dear students, in this video lecture, we will be discussing about a very important topic, that is secondary growth in dicotyledonous stem. Secondary growth in dicotyledonous stem, or simply dicot stem. It is very important event in the life cycle of almost all dicot plants. Especially in woody dicots, it is a very important event. To understand secondary growth, first we have to understand growth. After that, we will see what is secondary growth. Okay? Now, we try to understand what is growth. Okay? What is growth? Growth, we can simply define it as an increase in the biomass of growth. We can define it as an increase in the biomass of an organism is known as growth. Organism means it may be a plant or it may be an animal. Whatever it may be, an increase in the biomass of an organism is known as growth. Now we are talking about plants. In plants, growth occur in two phases. First one is primary, second one is secondary. Primary growth and secondary growth. The primary and secondary growth both are happen due to a special type of tissue called as meristem. Meristem is special type of tissue, embryonic tissue, which is actively dividing tissue. And continuously it produces new cells. Okay? Based on a criteria, that is location of meristem on plant body, we have three types of meristems. One is apical, second one is intercalary, third one is lateral. These three meristems are useful to the growth in plants. Okay? The growth taken place due to the activity of these meristematic tissues. Now I will explain the primary and secondary growth with this simple example. Whenever we sow a seed in soil, it will germinate and it will give rise a small plant. Okay? It may grow up to 1 feet or 2 feet or up to 1 meter due to the activity of an apical meristem. Here it is apical meristem. Due to this meristem, it will grow in unidirectional way. Next, here it is intercalary meristem. Okay, which is located at the internodes. This is intercalary meristem. Due to apical meristem and intercalary meristem, the primary growth of plant will be taken place. Okay? After that, we can see the multiple branch formation and leaf formation on primary plant. Due to the weight of these branches and leaves, it creates pressure on primary stem. Primary stem is very thin, that's why it is bent like this. Okay, to sustain that pressure, the primary stem started to increase in girth or in radius. This increasement is known as secondary growth. Okay, this radial enlargement of primary stem is known as secondary growth. Okay, this is due to the third type of meristem, that is lateral meristem. Here, due to apical and intercalary meristem, the primary growth is taking place. Next, due to the activity of lateral meristem, the secondary growth is taking place. Okay, what is secondary growth? It is an increase in the thickness or girth of the plant or stem. An increase in the thickness or girth of the plant or stem is known as secondary growth. Next, we will see the process of secondary growth. The process of secondary growth means how the secondary growth or radial increasement of stem is taking place in the stem, that we will see now. To understand secondary growth, first we have to understand the anatomy of primary stem. In the last video also, we have seen a typical dicot primary stem anatomy. Okay, now I am repeating once again. I am drawing again primary stem anatomy. It is a transverse section. In the transverse section, we can see a single cell layered outline which is known as epidermis. Epidermis, it is outermost layer which is having closely arranged cells. Next, here it is actually endodermis. Endodermis, which is a last cell layer in the cortex. It is cortex. Okay, inside endodermis, we can treat it as stele. Okay, total we have 3 parts. In stele, we can see vesicular bundles in one ring-like arrangement. It is a characteristic feature of dicotyledonous plants. Here it is vesicular bundle. Okay, these vesicular bundles are arranged in one ring-like manner in dicot stems. The vesicular bundles in dicot stems are conjoint, collateral, open type. Conjoint, collateral, open type. Here, conjoint means whenever we draw a line from center to periphery, both xylem and phloem lie on same line. Means xylem and phloem lie on same radius. Okay. Next, collateral. Here the phloem placed towards outside, xylem placed towards inside. The condition is known as collateral. Open type. Open type means in between xylem and phloem there will be a vesicular cambium, okay, or cambium strip. It is vesicular cambium or fascicular cambium or meristematic strip, whatever it may be, all are same. Okay, if vesicular cambium is present in between xylem and phloem, the condition is known as open. If vesicular cambium is absent in between xylem and phloem, the condition is known as closed type. Okay. Open type of vascular bundles are common in dicots. Closed type of vascular bundles are common in monocots usually. Here we can see cambial strip or vesicular cambium in all vascular bundles like this. Since it is present inside the vascular bundle, it is also called as intravascular cambium. Intravascular cambium. This is primary stem transfer section. With the help of this transfer section, we try to understand the process of secondary growth in dicotyledonous stem. Now we will discuss about secondary growth in dicot stems. We already know the definition of secondary growth. It is an increase in the girth or radius of primary stem to tolerate pressure of aerial parts. Okay, now first we will see place of secondary growth. Means in the anatomy of stem where the secondary growth will be taken place. Here there are two places where the secondary growth is taken place. They are, first one is in the stellar region, second one is in the cortex region, otherwise called as extrastellar region. Okay, total we have two places where the secondary growth is taken place. Stellar, inside steel, extrastellar, outside steel. It is nothing but cortex. Okay, now we will see stellar secondary growth. Means the secondary growth taken place inside the steel. First we will discuss stellar secondary growth. After that we will see extrastellar secondary growth. Okay, now again I am drawing a transfer section of a primary stem. Okay, it is an outline. We have to consider this line as epidermis. Okay, this is epidermis, the outermost layer in the dicot stem, which is having one layer of cells. This is primary stem transfer section I am drawing. Okay, next here it is innermost layer of cortex, that is endodermis. The stellar secondary growth is taken place here in stele. The extrastellar secondary growth taken place here in the cortex. Stellar secondary growth means it is taken place inside stele. Extrastellar secondary growth means it is taken place outside the stele, or it is taken place in the cortex. Okay, here extrastellar, here stellar secondary growth will be taken place. First we will see stellar secondary growth. Okay, these are vascular bundles I am drawing. In dicot stems, the vascular bundles are arranged in one ring-like manner. Okay, here the vascular bundles consist vesicular cambium. That's why the vascular bundles in dicot stems called as open type of vascular bundles. In between xylem and phloem there will be vascular cambium. Here we can see the phloem is placed towards outside. Here the xylem placed towards inside, towards pith side. Okay, here also in all vascular bundles the same condition will be there. This is vesicular cambium or fascicular cambium or intravascular cambium, because it is present inside the vascular bundle, that's why. Okay, next here the region is known as medullary ray region. Means here there will be a tissue which is a simple parenchymatous tissue. Okay, in this region during secondary growth a very important event will take place, that is de-differentiation of parenchyma tissue. Okay, here in this region there will be parenchymatous tissue that is transformed into meristematic tissue. The process which is known as de-differentiation. Means here normal simple permanent tissue again it gaining their divisionary capacity. Okay, due to the formation of cambial strip in between two vascular bundles, a total cambial ring will be formed. Here it is intrafascicular or vesicular cambium strip. Okay, here it is intervascular or interfascicular cambial strip. Okay, these two together combined and form a ring-like cylinder or ring-like meristematic tissue called as cambial ring. The formation of cambial ring is very important event in the secondary growth. This stage is known as formation of cambial ring. It is an important stage or event in the secondary growth. Okay, Here what happening means the previously existing intravascular cambium combined with newly dedifferentiated intervascular cambium together forming vesicular ring. That is the main event here. Next, after formation of vesicular cambial ring, the secondary growth is started. Here I am drawing one more diagram. This is second step. For easy understanding, I am drawing one more diagram here. Here it is cambial ring I am drawing. It is formed due to the joining of intravascular cambium and intervascular cambium. Both inter and intravascular cambium strips join together and form one continuous ring-like structure which is called as cambial ring. The cambial ring having dividing capacity because it is meristematic ring. The cambial ring consists two type of cells. First type is elongated fusiform initial cells. Second type is isodiametric ray initial cells. The cambial ring actively divide towards inside and produce secondary xylem. At the same time, it also produce tissue to the outside also. Okay, even outside also it divide and produce secondary phloem. Okay, the fusiform initial cells gives rise vascular tissues like xylem and phloem. The ray initial cells gives rise ray parenchyma. At final, we will get a layer of tissue on outside, a layer of tissue on inside. Total, we get two layers of tissues. It is cambial ring. It consists two type of cells. First type is fusiform initial cells. Fusiform initial cells. Second type is ray initial cells. Ray initial cells. Fusiform initial cells gives rise secondary xylem and secondary phloem. Ray initial cells gives rise ray parenchyma. Okay, fusiform cells elongated in shape like this. Ray initial cells isodiametric in shape. Okay, here it is cambial ring. It produces secondary phloem towards outside through mitotic divisions. This is secondary phloem. Towards inside, it produces secondary xylem through mitotic divisions only. The cambial ring produce secondary phloem outside, secondary xylem inside. Here, due to the activity of cambial ring, now two more additional layers were added. Towards outside, secondary phloem is added. towards inside, secondary xylem is added. Here, inside, due to the addition of secondary xylem, the primary xylem pushed towards inside. This is primary xylem. Outside also, due to the formation or addition of secondary phloem, the primary phloem pushed towards outside. That's why here primary phloem shifted towards outside. It is primary phloem. The secondary vascular tissues formed even in between vascular bundles also. In the center, it is pith. Now, due to the activity of cambial ring, we have additional two more tissue layers in the stem. Towards inside, we have secondary xylem layer. Towards outside, we have secondary phloem layer. But here one more important point is the cambial ring is less active towards outside. Less active towards outside, more active towards inside. More active towards inside. That's why when compared with xylem, secondary phloem is always less in quantity. Here the xylem, which is formed inner side, it is function as vascular tissue for one season, means 6 months. Okay, for next 6 months one more vesicular ring will be formed. Means one ring is formed in spring season, one ring is formed in autumn season. These two rings together called as annual ring. Annual ring consists two rings. One is spring, second one is autumn ring. These two together considered as annual ring. The secondary xylem, which is formed in the spring season, it is more than the secondary xylem which is produced in autumn season. Because in the spring season there will be n number of leaves on plants. That's why they transpire more, they pull water more. That's why the xylem vessels is wider and well developed in spring wood. But in case of autumn wood, usually there is no foliage on tree. That's why the transpiration also less and water demand also less. That's why we can see less amount of secondary xylem during autumn season. Even the vessels also very narrow in autumn wood when compared with spring wood. Based on sizes of xylem elements also, here we have two types of woods. The wood with narrow pores is known as non-porous wood. The wood with large pores is known as porous wood. Okay, means here spring wood is considered as porous wood, autumn wood is considered as non-porous wood. This is all about stellar secondary growth. Now we will see extrastellar secondary growth, or the secondary growth which is taken place in the cortex region. Again I am drawing transfer section of stem. Here it is stele. We already discussed about stellar secondary growth. Okay, now it is completed. Now I am discussing about the secondary growth in cortex region. Here it is, cortex region. Here in the cortex, few layers of cells de-differentiated and form meristematic tissue in a ring-like manner. Okay, a simple permanent tissue de-differentiated and form a ring of meristematic tissue in the cortex region. This is known as cork cambium, otherwise called as phellogen. Both are same. Here, what is the importance of cork cambium or phellogen means? Due to the activity of vascular cambium here in the stellar region, it produces secondary vascular tissues so that it creates pressure on epidermis. Due to the accumulation of secondary vascular tissues inside the stem, it creates pressure on epidermis so that in many parts it get ruptured. To refill that loss, the cork cambium is functioning like a secondary epidermis. Okay, now the cork cambium started to function and it divide on both sides and produce simple parenchyma tissue on both sides. First, on outside it produce few layers of simple parenchyma which is known as phellum. Okay, the parenchyma which is producing towards outside is known as phellum. Okay, at final, now we have additional parenchymatous layer which is known as phellum. Okay, outside we got phellum. At the same time, even inside also the cork cambium actively dividing and giving rise new parenchymatous cells. The tissue is called as secondary cortex. Okay, inside the cells are accumulating are known as secondary cortex. Okay, this is inner layer of parenchyma. This is outer layer of parenchyma. Total we got two additional layers in the cortex. The inner layer is called as phelloderm or secondary cortex. Okay, in the outer parenchyma layer, in some places the suberin depositions will be taken place. Okay, but it is discontinuous, means in some areas there is no suberin depositions, only in some areas the suberin which is depositing. Okay, here this tissue having suberin depositions. Suberin is impermeable to the water and other gaseous exchange. In this region, there is no suberin depositions. Okay. Now, in the phloem, we have two type of tissues. A strip of tissue consists suberin depositions. Here there is no water movement to this region. That's why this region will be dead. But here in this area there is no suberin depositions. That's why the water is continuously supplied to this region. That's why this region actively dividing and it is living tissue. Here also it is living tissue because here there is no suberin depositions. That's why it is actively divide due to the overactivity of this parenchyma tissue in this region. Here the epidermis will be burst and exposed to the external environment. This region is known as lenticel. But here there is no gaseous and water exchange. That's why this tissue dead. Again, these tissues are living because here there is no suberin depositions. Here the parenchyma is continuously having contact from pith to outer cortex. Okay, these regions. But here there is no possibility to transport water from inside to outside due to suberin deposition. And here we need to remember one more term, that is bark. Okay, the tissue which is lie on the outer side to the secondary xylem is known as bark. And next, here the tissue which is lies outside to the cork cambium is known as cork. Here it is bark. This is the basic difference between these two things. Next, here we have two regions where the secondary growth is taken place. One is stele, second one is cortex. These two together called as secondary growth. Okay, this is all about secondary growth. And next, here we need to remember two important terms. One is heartwood, second one is sapwood. Heartwood and sapwood. To understand this, we have to cut a log of dicot. Okay, it is a transverse section of a log of dicot plant. Due to the accumulation or formation of many annual rings, we can see number of annual rings in the stem. It is a spring wood which is formed in the spring season. Okay, next immediately we can see second ring, that is autumn wood. Okay, spring wood is conduct water in the spring season. Okay, comparatively big. Autumn wood, it is thin or small. It functions as a conductive tissue in the autumn season. Next, again in the next year we can see again spring wood. It is bit wider than autumn wood as usually. Again, this is spring wood. Again, a thin autumn wood. Next, spring wood. Next, autumn wood. Okay, one spring wood, one autumn wood together called as annual ring. In one annual ring, we can see two rings. One is spring wood, another one is autumn wood. These two together called as annual ring. Okay. In an annual ring, in the first 6 months, the spring would conduct water. Another 6 months, autumn would conduct water. It is first form, that's why it is called early wood. It is second form, that's why it is called late wood. Okay. These two woods together called as annual ring. Okay. By using this annual ring, we can calculate the age of tree. Okay. This technology is known as dendrochronology. Dendrochronology. Very important. And finally, whenever multiple annual rings are formed towards inside, few layers become non-functional or inactive due to the deposition of different substances. But in outer layer of annual ring, they are functional. Means these are active, they perform conduction function. These are non-functional, means there is no transportation duty, because here substances like lignin, tannins, or formation of tyloses is taken place. That's why they become inactive. Okay, the wood, whatever located in the center, which is dark in color, that is known as heartwood. Heartwood is very dark in color, non-functional, and very hard in nature. Okay, that's why it is useful for mechanical support. Here in the outer side, we can see sapwood. It is functional. It transports water and minerals actively. It is also known as softwood, light in color. This is hardwood, very dark in color, durable wood. It is softwood, very light in color, less durable when compared with hardwood. Okay, hardwood and sapwood, very important terms to remember. And one more important point, compare with sapwood, hardwood is very durable, so that it is economically very important, because here we can see tannin and lignin and tylosis formation. But here in case of sapwood, it is very less value wood. The hardwood is highly durable, the sapwood is less durable. And one more point, here the lignin and tannins are less deposited in sapwood, more in hardwood. Next, spring wood. It is also known as early wood. Autumn wood. It is known as late wood. Okay. The spring wood, also called as porous wood, because here the vesicular tissue is highly developed, but it is non-porous wood because the vesicular, mainly xylem tissues are less developed in this season. These two are important. Okay, this is all about secondary growth in dicot stem and different types of woods. In the next video we will be discussing about anomalous secondary growth. Thank you.